we will explore the unexplained. From mysteries beyond our galaxy to ghostly phenomena in our own backyard, we will dive into our psychic abilities and explore everything from conspiracies to the just plain weird. Welcome to 30-Odd Minutes. If the truth is out there, we will find it. But only by sheer accident.
Yeah. Thank you. Welcome to 30-Odd Minutes. It's great to have you guys here. You are Oddballs, we are Oddballs. We've shrunk the mothership down, and we've brought it here to the haunted Dibbuk Box, which is going to be the subject of tonight's show. The Oddball Pit is alive and lively. Check them out over here. There they are, almost. Yay!
It's a party up in here.
It's a party. You'll notice a new face on the couch tonight, though not new to 30-Odd Minutes.
No.
Andy White has been, besides myself, the only person on every single episode of 30-Odd Minutes, every one. Andy White has been our director, producer extraordinaire, and unfortunately, sadly, tonight is his last night. He's moving to Florida. What's up with that, Andy? Go.
I don't know. I just kind of felt like going to Florida. It's nice and warm down there. It's
Woke
been kind of
up
crappy
one morning
around here.
and thought I'm going to go to Florida.
Better
Yeah.
winters.
Better winters down there. I can golf all year
winter.
long, and a lot of ghostly things going on down there, I hear. So
Well, that's
No
the
good
perfect,
sports, though.
It's a good
No
segue
good sports, no.
because we're not going to let you off the hook. We want field reports from Florida. We want you to check in with us, send us videos, and let us know what's strange and odd down in Florida.
I will do
Can you
that. I will
Promise?
let you know about all the spirits I find in Florida.
Spirits.
All the
Mostly
spirits.
Captain Morgan.
Get it? Yeah.
Right.
I knew
I
he
get
was
it.
going
The
there.
alcoholic kind. Now, the other thing is tonight we will be taking Andy out for beer after the show in T-minus 28 minutes. So hang in there, buddy. You can make it. And we appreciate you. Thank you very much, Andy White, for all you've done for 30-Odd Minutes.
Thanks.
Oddball forever.
Hey, Dub.
All right. Man O'Shevitz, do we have a very cool show for you tonight? And that's going to be funnier later.
It's a Jewish
Sarah, did we get any emails this week? Something good? Twitter, Facebook?
We got a few emails. We also, speaking of field reports, LA Paranormal, who's
Yes.
done a couple of ours in the past, they posted their shadow person
Yep.
field report on 30-Odd Minutes website.
I
Wait,
remember.
No, Facebook.
I recall.
The
It was here.
shadow.
It was on our
Shadow.
Because we're
show.
on Facebook, and it was on our show,
We
so we
showed
still
it,
want field reports. There's a rumor of Area 51 field report is coming as well, so that will
very
be
cool.
cool. But
Sounds
we do
fancy.
want more. Like, they're really awesome. If you send them to us, we're going to put them on air. So send
Right.
us your good stuff.
Yes, please do. Thank
We
you.
want
And
more.
and reminder, if you're in the chat room, 30oddminutes.com, you can watch the show live during the live episodes, and you can join the chat, pass questions up to our guest. Try to ask Sarah out on a date. She usually says no, but tonight might be your night. You never know.
I
Good
am
luck
feeling
with
a little frisky tonight.
that. Okay. Heard it there. Very good.
Holy crap.
I'm tired. I'm tired. I got no sleep.
Yes.
All right. Listen, grab your menorah, grab your yarmulkes, and some holy water just in case, depending on which way you swing. Tonight is going to be very interesting. I'm super psyched about this topic. Tonight's guest is here to talk about the haunted Dibbuk Box, an antique Jewish wine cabinet that came from Poland, but what was inside wasn't wine. There it is. The story goes that the original owner said the box should never be opened because it contained a Dybbuk and keselim. The box made its way to the United States where it was sold in an estate auction, then sold again on eBay, and trouble seems to follow this thing everywhere it goes. Paranormal trouble, that is, and we're going to hear more about that in a few minutes. Our guest is a museum director. He's studied American antiques and ancient artifacts for the past 26 years. He's lectured at the university level, and he's the current owner of the Dibbuk Box. Live from northern Missouri, please welcome Jason Haxton. Hey!
Yeah.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing great tonight. Thanks for having me on the show, Jeff.
All right, is the Dibbuk Box nearby right now where you are?
Fortunately, it's sealed and placed away, very safe.
Okay, it's safe for now. All right, well, let's get to the Dibbuk Box quickly. We showed it briefly during that introduction. We'll be showing it again. We'll talk about it. How did this thing come into your possession? Let's kind of quickly trace the story.
Really, it came to me quite by accident. Working as a museum director, we deal mostly with medical material, human remains, tools of torture used by doctors in the past.
Cool.
But we hire young college students to do internships, and it was one of these college students who came in one day and said, by the way, my roommate bought this thing called a haunted Jewish wine box, and my curiosity about it was, well, why don't you bring it in sometime and we can see it? bad things happened. They never brought it in. Instead, he said, look, he's getting rid of it. If you want it, you can buy it, but that's the only way you're ever going to see it. I really didn't want to buy it. It kind of scared me, but I had a magician friend, Michael Callahan, and he was like, wait a minute, this would be a perfect object for an illusionist show. So go ahead and get it, and if there's problems, I'll take it off your hands. Well, I got it, and we had problems, and he ran. So he never took it off my hands.
All right, well, quickly, let's go a little bit further back, though. Before a student had it, did this thing truly come from Poland? Do we know that? Did it come over from Poland?
Right. I've worked with the first buyer. He was an antique refinisher and basically was just picking up stuff for his shop and went to this auction. This is the shop at 221 Burnside Road in Portland, Oregon. Not the round arch, but the one next to it. And in the eBay auction, you hear about this gate getting shot and his shopkeeper being terrified by the cussing, noise, and breaking lights. But basically, he bought this thing thinking it was just a little wine cabinet. When he opened it up and saw the keselim, which is artifacts used in Jewish magic called kishof, and that's the Kiddush cup and basically a strange candlestick holder. And the middle piece is a mizbich, which is basically a praying piece of quartz.
Okay.
And so when he opened it up, he pulled these things out and decided to give this to his mother. When she opened it as her wedding gift or as a birthday gift and then touched it, she had a stroke and refuses to be involved with it in any other way. He had horrible things happen, shadow creatures, all types of disturbances, dreams of being beaten and woken up bruised, vision problems, swelling. He decided to get rid of it. That's how the college kids got it. And then the college kids basically got it to me and ran.
Okay. So first of all, this shopkeeper attached the stroke and whatever bad stuff was happening to this object, right?
Right.
I mean, the skeptics in us have to say sometimes bad stuff happens and you look for a reason and, you know, the lucky rabbit's foot or whatever, right? I mean, but it doesn't end here, and we'll talk about that in 1 second. Before we get too far, I want to talk about what a Dybbuk is. This is something I know a teeny tiny bit about because years ago I got to interview Rabbi Gershon Winkler, great resource of Jewish mysticism. He wrote the book Dybbuk, among many other books on Kabbalah and things like that. And my understanding, and please jump in anytime, Jason, is that a Dybbuk in Jewish mysticism and in the Jewish religion is a spirit attachment. And what's unique about the Dybbuk compared to other religions is that when it comes to a person, a living person, a Dybbuk can be a good thing, like if you're trying to lose weight, quit smoking, a spirit that did that in life might attach itself to you, kind of help you over the edge and then leave. And it can be a bad thing. You're thinking about, you know, robbing a liquor store, you're thinking about whatever, and a spirit will kind of devil make you do it kind of thing. And so are we talking about the same thing? Is there an attachment to this box?
Right, Jeff. They call it a cleaving spirit,
Right.
and it can help fulfill a mission that it did not accomplish in life using you as its host. So it could be good, but it could be bad. But who wants any type of a spiritual attachment? I'm not 100% sure that there is a spirit within the box, but wherever it goes, strange things happen.
Right.
As a result, working with rabbis and Kabbalah students, we have what we've called seal it. If you noticed in the image that was shown that it actually, the Dibbuk box is inside of what is called an ark, and you can see a lot of gold. The gold actually acts as a strong conductive metal, and it can basically nullify or ground any energy. So we have the Virginia Scientific Research Association. They are about ghosts as only scientific, but they say the wood, the quartz, the things could have a negative effect regardless. And so by setting it in a gold wooden ark, you could ground it. And that's basically what was advised by the rabbis. Now, their opinion is gold cleanses, purifies, and is an honor to God. So we look at it from a scientific and a spiritual event. Either way, it has been sealed and it has seemed to calm down.
Okay, fair enough. Now, that's the Dybbuk. What about a keselim? What's the difference between the two?
In Jewish mysticism of 2,000 years, keselim are tokens, maybe things from hair, coin, items that you use to perform magic. And of course, it's outlawed within the Jewish faith, but it is still performed by some.
Okay, well, sure, but I mean, there's folk magic in every religion and really in every culture, and you know, it could be that something as simple as, you know, gosh, I know I had a Polish grandmother that used to, if you had an injury, she would hold candles on either side of like your injured arm and say a prayer, and that's folk magic combined with her Roman Catholic faith to try to, you know, have something, you know, come out of it. And so this box, what's so interesting, you know, talk to any Red Sox fan. We have a few on the couch tonight. For decades, if you believe in a curse, you're cursed, right? I mean, it becomes a very real thing. It becomes a tangible thing if you give it some faith and merit. And so before we get too far into that, let's go on now. So you take this thing home to your house. And bad stuff seems to follow it. Here's a classic example. There's a tree that just wasn't planted this way, correct?
No, this is a tree in our yard. And it's not that trees don't fall down every day, but if you look at the lower image, some people call these things orbs. There's quite a number of them. This storm only originated within the block of my house, and it was the day the Dybbuk arrived. We had been mocking it. We'd been joking about it. It arrives, and this tree basically is thrust into my house, almost destroying it. Had the neighbors not come quickly over with backhoes and saws and gotten it off the house, it would have destroyed a fairly solid home.
Wow, scary stuff. All right, Jason, we do have a
so we don't mock the box anymore.
Okay, and we won't do that here either. We don't want to tempt any fate, even from a distance. We do have a question for you in our chat room. The lovely and talented Andy White. Do tell. What do our viewers want to know?
Someone in the chat room here, they want to know, where'd it go?
If
Is the
if the piece is possessed.
if the piece is possessed, and if so, by what?
This is why we don't let him.
I'm
job.
not supposed to be on the couch.
Is the piece possessed, and if so, by what? Is the question.
They don't normally let me talk.
No, for good reason.
I would say the way the family described it when we finally got back with the Polish family, they did create this as a prayer altar, and it was to do what is called a segula, which is if you have been harmed, as many Jews in the Holocaust, yet you did nothing to deserve that harm, you could ask for retribution. And this was a 40-year process of praying to find some form of retribution or answer to the family losing the woman who created it, her husband, her parents, her siblings, her own children. And so she put this into motion to answer a prayer, which was, why? Why would all this have happened to begin with? And it really comes back to a dark secret within the American past about eugenics and the laws we set up, which then inspired Germany during World War II.
Okay. Now, so what kind of things are plaguing here? Now, we talked, you have some other photos, and we're going to show them in a second. But what other stuff is happening? We have a tree falling, very scary. Bugs?
Oh, the thing is, and of course the Kabbalah students and rabbis mentioned that powerful objects will draw insects to it, but not upon it. And so we have two odd things that happen. One with what we call these scorpion kind of centipedes, and this is it. This is after they dispersed. They literally were hundreds of them. It's rare in the middle of winter to even find one, and yet there were hundreds of them gathered, and the box was on the other side of this cement wall. So it was as if they were just kind of basking in its glory. And these things actually have a venomous bite that you would not want to get into them. So that's one aspect of bug attraction.
And there were other bugs, correct? We've got some weird spiders.
Well, and this is what's odd is when this was put into the basement, this was actually put in a crawl space to get it away from my family, and this white mold appeared within weeks throughout the area and killed these spiders mid-web. And everything in this is just one corner, but killed basically every living insect as if it was just stopped and then created a mold over it. It's very unusual. Once the box was removed, the mold vanished from the entire space.
Very strange indeed. Please hold tight, Jason. We have another question for you. Sarah, do tell.
Do. And actually, we have a really funny comment. I just had to say it. From Inquisitive Danny. She says, this box sounds like the perfect gift for giving to annoying in-laws. That was cute. But we do have a question from Barbs13. She wants to know, has there ever been like a really serious effort to cleanse or exercise this box?
Good question.
That is
an
a good
effort to
question.
cleanse or exercise the box.
Smart.
She's a quick one.
Has there been an effort? To some degree, what I was told was because of the religious items with God's name and the power that was embedded in it, including the Shema prayer, which is in the back, that you could contain it, but you probably could never completely take whatever power is within it out. So to some degree, by putting it in acacia, which is a Middle Eastern tree,
Right.
Wood of a tree, and then lining it in gold, just like the Ark of the Covenant, you can calm it, but you would never completely depower it. It actually has an unusual scent, not of urine and of jasmine, which is when it's active, it performs, but just normally it has this odor that is like nothing else. It's a very addicting woody scent that causes people to want to be near it, and you never forget this. So it contains its power, but for the most part, it's put away. The only next thing you could do is call what is called a minyan, where you bring a group of religious Jews, men, together to perform a ritual that could negate it, and then you bury it to draw all power out of it.
A lot
I
of
have not
effort.
done that yet.
Now, we're going to jump back for a second. Urine and jasmine, which is funny because I was totally going to market that as a perfume fragrance. And I feel like maybe you stole that idea from me. I'm not sure. But so why urine and jasmine? That's the distinct scent it gives off when it's active?
When it seems to be in its most angered state, you will smell urine. For instance, when it was first being put into the ark,
Right.
instantly the room filled, and this again, the gold around it is the doors open, and the Dibbuk Box is inside with the keselim. As soon as it was put into that ark, the room filled with urine. My family kind of freaked and ran because it was one of the few times they actually got to see the Dibbuk Box. I pulled it out to put it into the ark, and basically the urine scent came out of it. If it wants to have you feel better about it, you smell this sweet, sickly smell of flowers, which can only be described as jasmine, but is like the most sickly, sweet smell you could smell. And also, when I was trying to get rid of it, this scent appeared around it as if to try to placate and apologize, I don't know, but
Right.
not to harm it, to get rid of it.
And so you didn't successfully get rid of it. Why not?
Once I worked to get it in the Casey Ark, most of the illnesses and things that I had, which included severe eye problem, vision, going blind, excessive hives, and they would just appear within minutes. You would be covered in welts, and then just as quickly they'd vanish. You would have them for hours, and then they would just go. And some of it I felt was, surely this is psychosomatic, but also I started to believe when I first got the box, did someone actually contaminate it so that people would actually be poisoned? You know, we got some weird people out there.
Yeah.
Being a museum director, we have access to supplies to test things.
Right here, Jason.
Yeah. We
Weird
test things for mercury and ammonia and stuff, and what I found was it really did just have a sugar-based varnish, so there was nothing on the box that could have been contaminating. But initially, I thought I poisoned myself. It would be very easy to do.
Okay, so you didn't get rid of it. You kept it. And now here's another question for you. You're a fine young Methodist gentleman. Do you have any Jewish groups that take any have any issue with you having this as opposed to someone of Jewish faith?
Well, you bring up a good point, because as I've tried to unravel this riddle, so have various rabbis. Golem from the Sheffield, UK, Rabbi Lynn Goldstein actually is working with me. I do have a book that actually tells the full story of everything, including her ending. So there's a lot of support, because part of what they said is the reason a Methodist non-Jewish person had it is I question everything, and therefore it was quicker to understand what this truly was. It's an abnormal altar created by definitely a Jewish family. There is no doubt about it in the people of the Jewish faith. It is not typical, and yet it might have done because of extreme agony and pain and trying to understand, again, a very large, significant event in someone's life. What would be true of this is you could actually pray to it and set it back in motion again. But because the issue is resolved pretty much in finding out what the story was about, I believe that it is pretty much resting in its ark, but it also is in a military shipping case, just in case it ever has to be sent away. It's one of those hard plastic, and that's what this image shows. It shows my desk. The replica Dibbuk box is at the top. So Hollywood refuses. There is actually going to be a movie come out January 6th, and they refused to have the real thing. So we had to make a complete replica.
Oh my God.
So the original was taken to the Amish, and when the Amish actually had the original, all these horrible things befell them. They finished the replica but said, do not bring this thing ever near our community again. And so the replica was sent to Hollywood to be used. It sits on top of the real case with the real ark with the Dybbuk box inside of it.
Wow. Okay. So this is a complex story that keeps branching off, and it's the more we know about it, really, the more power. And any story, any legend, any curse, anything like that. I believe this in my heart. The more we know about it, the more we talk about it, the more power and significance that it has. So interesting stuff. We do have another question for you, Rob. Do tell.
All right. We have a regular cricket. Regular to the chatter room.
Thank you, Cricket.
And he wants to know if you personally feel that it is haunted because the box was not buried per the grandmother's wishes.
Yes, good question. We didn't get to this. The woman in Poland, who I guess her wishes were that this box would be buried with her forever. Is that what set this haunting in motion? The fact that it was not buried with her?
You bring a good point up, and this is according to the family. They made the error, but an Orthodox burial would not include an artifact like this. And with my work with some of the rabbis, we determined that the Jewish language, Hebrew, is a very powerful thing. As a matter of fact, if you look at the story Lord of the Rings, it really is the story of King Solomon's ring, which had God's name, and he could pronounce it. Therefore, he had powers over demons, death, and all spiritual. And so what we're saying is the Hebrew language itself, being inside this mizbech, this stone piece, and on the back, it is something that you typically would not bury. And so in an Orthodox burial, the rabbi said, I'm not burying this with the old woman. So the family was left to, what do we do with it? And it was their mistake to sell it as just a yard sale item. In hindsight, they realized it was wrong. They did not want it back. And they said that that's what set this thing into motion, was that it was going to resolve her issues. But it was very personal. It was meant to be buried with her. I've said the same thing. Now that it's done, I've often told my son, I think I'd like to have it just buried with me and be done with it. And he says, no, it's too valuable and amazing. So you never get what you want.
Yeah, right. Isn't that funny? And so now a movie's going to come out about it. I mean, it's a compelling story. You know, the idea that this thing does become powerful. Can we bring the image up again of the Dybbuk box? The stone, thank you, in the middle. What's that word written on the stone in the middle that we can see, the writing?
Hebrew, you read from right to left, and that is the Hebrew word for shalom, which basically means peace, but not a peace that we could ever find. You know, when we say peace, man, or peace be with you, it is actually a peace that could probably almost be achieved in death. It is the highest level of rest and peace and contentment. And so it is a very powerful word. This stone is actually to protect you when you pray, that God's power does not blow you away, that you can actually stay and focus and pray to God in the most deepest sense and be protected. And that's what a mizbech stone is about.
Okay. And so, I mean, all of these items, and we're not going to know because the woman that created this thing has passed away, but some significance, right? So we've got chalices, and there's other writing in the box besides that? Was it etched in the wood?
Right. Carved in the very back of the box is what's called the Shema, which is the prayer that you first learn and should be the last you say upon death. I actually, just saying, I pulled out, this would be one of the reproduction pieces. And it is, as you look at basically the octopus, the sea has always been mystical, and so this is why this is an appropriate candlestick to use. Alcohol actually causes the spiritual connection to be enhanced, and so at the beginning of any Jewish ritual and spiritual ritual, you would use wine, and basically it is a way of connecting spiritually. So I have a couple replica pieces. These are exactly what's in the real thing, but these are ones that I've gone out and hunted and found. The candlestick's 100 years old. This is actually a Jewish piece made by Leonard Silver.
Okay. Now, you've got a very academic background, working in universities and working in museums. Has this made you a little bit more of a paranormal guy?
I certainly would say the experience has made me more spiritual.
Okay.
I feel that there is actually, I think my attitude before this box was, so we live, we die, big deal. But in the process of working with the Hebrew language, and not just the Jewish faith, Wiccans, paranormal, physicists, the amount of people that are fascinated by this artifact from all professions, including the scientific world, actually has expanded my thinking, and I'm very confident of an afterlife, I think, from just working and understanding all these perspectives that I would have never other had. And so I'm very grateful in some ways. I would not change having it. I'm still cautious about it. I don't let people typically get near it, though people have, but often. The last writer of the book, I should say, he was a paranormal writer of 3 books. And before just working with the materials and taking them home, the scents, the lilac smells, the jasmine, the bad taste, the illnesses, the spontaneous things, they so haunted him and his family within days of working just to write the story with me that he had to abandon the project, and basically for the safety of his family. As soon as he sent the materials back and was done with it, everything stopped in his life. But so many people see the shadowy figures, which we see in our home, the light orbs. What I'm saying is this thing has a way of drawing energy to it. And so living in a 100-year-old Victorian home, if there is any residual energy, it certainly has been a magnet to intense that. People that actually are engineers for NASA have studied the effects of the stone in the wood and say that the energy that comes out is greater than any energy around it. So I don't understand it. It's an enigma.
Yeah, well, that's why it makes it so interesting. Sarah, do tell us, in the Mormon faith, do we have an equivalent? You're a Mormon spokesperson. Go.
Oh my gosh, an equivalent to what?
The box.
Like
the box.
The magic box.
You mean like the you're going to get me in trouble. The stone in the hat that
Any
you
of
look
it.
at?
The
Ark of the Covenant?
Do we have are you seeing any parallels to the Mormon faith?
No.
How
What about
about
the stones that
Catholics,
we found?
Christians?
I don't know.
Catholics? Catholic?
I'm not Catholic.
Nothing?
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Buddha?
Raiders of the Lost Ark, of course. That comes to
I like
mind.
that.
The wood, very cool movie, yeah. No, that's what's so interesting, because when we start mixing mysticism, the paranormal, and our faith, you get a stew of really good stuff that's very memorable, and people do talk about it. We are pretty much right up against the end of time. Jason, I do appreciate you being with us tonight. Really enlightening stuff. We will have links to Jason's website and the Dibbuk Box. You can find out more. You can see pictures. But I do want to ask, before we go off into the sunset here, we do want to wish Andy White good luck again. Thank you so much for all you've done.
Thanks.
66 episodes of 30-odd minutes. You've been at the helm, and we appreciate it.
It's true.
And Eric is taking over in the back. Eric, thank you for...
Hi.
There he is.
Hi, Eric.
He's there. So, Andy, you're moving down what, like next week?
Yeah, Monday.
Monday, moving down to Florida.
Monday, moving down to Florida.
So
He's
Tuesday,
like sweating. He's
I
like,
know.
oh God.
I hate the heat.
you'll be sending us photos and videos on Tuesday.
I might still be in the car on Tuesday. It depends on how long it takes to drive there, but
All right.
Live feed. Come
I
on.
could live feed from the
Yeah,
car, totally.
yeah.
All right, very
Yeah,
cool.
we'll make that happen.
You can let us know how Tampa feels about the Bruins winning the cup.
Oh, well.
Ooh.
I don't think that'll make
Yeah.
him very popular in his new home, man.
It might.
Hey, there's more Red Sox and Bruins fans down in Florida than
That's true. It's
There
like
are
the old- it's
Rays
like the
fans or
old
Lightning
Hartford
fans,
Whalers
so-
when
Then
the
you'll be
Bruins
right
played
at
down
home.
there.
absolutely.
Set up, man.
Right on, man. Well, cool, man.
Yeah,
We
dude.
really appreciate it. Good luck to you. Best of luck. Do keep in touch with us.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Love you.
All right, for our guests, for the Oddballs, for everyone, for Jason, stay odd, folks. See you next time. All right.
Aw.
Thank you so much, Jason. Now we just